From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Monday, October 5th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana. Thousands of Indianapolis students are going back to class in person this morning.
We have a procedure and protocol for pretty much everything.
What IPS says they're doing to keep kids safe in the classroom.
Making sure that thousands of kids cross the street safely. The new safety plan underway this morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.
So it's nice to see smiles on people's faces, just to bring them joy in the dark times right now.
And a local farm is growing in popularity with fun while social distancing. I'll take you out to Johnson County, where picking flowers is helping their business rebound. And here at 6 o'clock, it is Monday morning. Thanks for starting your work week with our team here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. My friend Rafael Sanchez joining us from the Johnson County studio. Rafael, good morning to you. Don't go outside this morning. That's my best advice to you.
I'm not because
Perfect.
This morning we are waking up to a frost advisory. I just sent a text to Mother Nature and it says, slow down, wait your turn, winter. Can we just enjoy fall? A frost advisory, Alyssa, that's a whole lot for just October.
Okay, you're right. I mean, yes, we don't see a ton of frost advisories in October, so you're not wrong. And this is our coolest day, our coolest morning rather, since I believe May. So definitely going to feel a little different outside when you walk out the door. The good news is we will warm up as we head through the day, and we're not going to see these cold temperatures every morning for the next 7 days. This is really just a Monday thing. 35 degrees to start here in Indianapolis right now. It's 30 degrees in Terre Haute. They briefly dipped into the upper 20s just a few minutes ago. They're back to 30 degrees now. I'll keep an eye on that for you. That frost advisory in place across much of Indiana right now. We've seen that extended into central Indiana. That's in effect until 9 a.m. this morning. We have those clear skies, those cool temperatures, and light winds means that potential for some frost development. So just keep an eye on that this morning. Temperatures will climb into the low 60s today, and we are warming up quite a bit more for the rest of the week.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. We do have a traffic alert, something we've been following since we first came on the air this morning, and this is all the way up here on I-65, the southbound direction. There's an early semi-fire there working near the Clinton County line. So what you need to know is if you're traveling southbound on I-65 from areas like Lafayette, you'll need to get off the interstate by State Road 28. You can take that over a little bit westbound, get on US 52. You can see it runs right alongside the interstate. Take that southbound until you get to State Road 47, and from there you can get back on Interstate 65. They did reopen this area just briefly to let some traffic through. It is now closed again, so this is something we'll continue to monitor, and of course we'll keep you updated. Rafael?
Lauren, after being diagnosed with COVID-19, President Trump's medical staff says he's improving and could leave the hospital as early as today.
Mr. Trump left his hospital room Sunday to pay a surprise visit to his supporters outside of Walter Reed Medical Center. He waved as the motorcade passed the crowd. The White House also shared photos of the president working in the presidential suite of Walter Reed. After mixed messages about the president's condition, White House physician doctor gave an update on his treatments that he's been given.
The president has experienced 2 episodes of transient drops in his oxygen saturation. I recommended the president we try some supplemental oxygen. Stayed on that for about an hour.
Well, those treatments were given on Friday. When the doctor was pressed about other discrepancies, he said that he was trying to reflect an upbeat attitude and was not trying to hide anything. Rafael?
Lauren, the president's road to recovery includes a treatment of something called Regeneron. It's the anti-COVID-19 treatment that is now being tested around the country. Ascension St. Vincent Hospital is the only one in Indiana taking part in this nationwide test. Here's St. V's top infectious disease doctor right now on Good Morning Indiana.
So we infuse this particular product over about an hour, and it then hopefully finds the virus, binds to it, and then neutralizes. That's why you hear the term neutralizing antibody.
Since the president took it, a lot of folks are wondering what could the side effects be. Understanding that you're not his doctor, understand that we don't know what his situation is, but can you give me the spectrum of what the possible side effects could be?
Sure. I mean, if we look at what we see with antibody infusions in general, the overwhelming side effect, which mind you is still quite rare, would be an infusion reaction, where you could have a low blood pressure and have some immediate circulatory issues. that would be known right away because that usually happens upon immediate administration. After that, it's all fairly nondescript symptomatology such as headaches, some muscle soreness, and really that's about it except for extraordinary rare events that we could not predict.
What is the timeline then for Regeneron? What are we looking at? Are we still weeks, months, or years from this becoming sort of an official treatment?
If the data looks fantastic, you may have accelerated access, and by that I mean expanded authorization to use it outside of a clinical trial, exactly what happened with remdesivir.
Doctor, thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us here on WRTV.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
So currently 15 people locally are participating in the Regeneron trial at St. Vincent Hospital, but many more are taking part in this nationwide test. Lauren?
And so, Raphael, let's take a closer look at the numbers, the latest on the virus's impact here in the Hoosier State. For the fourth day in a row, Indiana is reporting more than 1,000 new cases of COVID-19. The State Department of Health confirming 1,096 new cases Sunday. That brings Indiana's total number of cases to more than 125,000 since the start of the pandemic. 5 new COVID-related deaths were also reported. That number is down from the numbers over the weekend. 3,447 deaths have been confirmed here in Indiana since the pandemic began. And this morning, some IPS students are returning to the classroom for the first time in months. Those students are the more than 9,600 pre-K through third graders throughout that district. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with what they can expect as they arrive to school this morning. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So yeah, it's a very exciting day for all IPS schools and all the elementary schools because K through third graders are going to be back in the classroom starting this week, phasing in. So I'm here this morning with Superintendent Alicia Johnson. So tell me, how are you feeling this morning as kids are about to be back in the classroom for the first time since March?
You know, I'm extremely excited. That same kind of first day of school jitters that we often get. I definitely have those today. Driving over, saw a school bus on the road. So very excited to welcome our students back today.
Okay, and so we've been talking all morning about this 41-page document. This is all the planning, probably just a portion of the planning that's going into getting these kids back to school. So give us a little insight into what is inside of this protocol plan.
Sure. Well, you're holding our health and safety guidebook, and you know, as we're bringing children back to school, we want to make sure our families and community know that we have taken every precaution to be sure that we can return in a safe manner. So in addition to our COVID-19 numbers across our community being lower, we also have a number of protocols in place inside of our school buildings and our school buses so that children are safe.
And it seems there's a protocol for literally everything. That's what Principal Peterkin here said at Daniel Webster.
We have tried to think of everything and leave no stone unturned. Again, so if parents have questions, teachers have questions, staff have questions, there's a place they can go and see how we've thought things through to keep everyone as safe as possible.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. And again, kindergarten through third graders are going back today. Everyone will be virtual next week. And then starting on October 19th, that's when the rest of the kids are going to start phasing into the classroom. And again, they are going to be doing the cohorting, so they will be able to easily assess situations should someone get COVID-19. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Best of luck to the students and staff today. We also want you to know that IPS is encouraging parents at 13 elementary schools to walk their kids to the neighborhood schools. To help out, the district is hiring crossing guards to work at the schools in those high traffic areas. We'll have more on that developing story coming up at 6:40 right here on Good Morning Indiana.
So, Lauren, this morning they are sending out an SOS, a call of distress in light of this ongoing pandemic. The people behind the concerts and live shows that you enjoy here in central Indiana are calling on lawmakers for help like right now. Many say they're struggling with no paychecks as live shows have been canceled until possibly next year. Today, the Workers Union will gather on Monument Circle for a rally that begins at 11.
We're approaching that desperation spot, I'd say. You know, we're unemployment's almost run out for everyone if it hasn't already. So, you know, everyone keeps telling everyone to go get a job, but there's really no job that's going to pay a living wage to be able to take care of a family that you can just go grab. So people are starting to panic. Insurance is run out.
The local union of the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees says its insurance fund, as you heard, is out of money. The group had been helping members with insurance all the way since March. Lauren?
Raphael, neighbors in the Broad Ripple area are really concerned about some safety issues in their community. Colleen Fanning is the executive director of the Broad Ripple Village Association, and she says there have been multiple issues along the strip and the neighborhoods in the overnight hours. She says there's been dozens of cars and motorcycles drag racing along Broad Ripple Avenue and others blocking traffic. Reports of gunshots have also become more frequent in the area. Fanning says her organization is working with IMPD to step up enforcement before someone gets hurt.
Whether that means speed traps, sobriety checks, DPW putting out some speed tables. We're really working with the city to figure out how we can combat this and keep everyone safe.
WRTV reached out to IMPD to learn a little bit more about its plan to work with the Broad Ripple Village Association. The department released a statement saying, in part, quote, IMPD North District maintains an excellent working relationship with the BRVA. This partnership has led to double-digit declines in homicides, aggravated assaults, burglaries, and other property crimes in the area. We continue conversations focused on those current issues related to speeding, reckless driving, and other public safety concerns, end quote. Well, we know the pandemic has limited many activities, but it isn't stopping one local farm. I'll show you how they're helping people relax and just enjoy the outdoors. Alyssa?
And we are in for a chilly start today. If you haven't walked outside yet, you are going to need a warmer jacket. We're in the 30s this morning, warming into the low 60s this afternoon. The good news is we are warming up for the rest of the 7-day forecast. I'll break down all the details coming up next.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. You know, COVID-19 is a lot, from the stress of just trying to keep safe every single day to, as well, financial concerns could have an impact on your mental health. The Rebound Indiana is all about sharing ideas to get you through this pandemic. And Lauren, I am so happy that this morning you're taking all of us on a road trip.
That's right. And you don't have to go too far, Raphael. I went to Johnson County to a flower farm gaining popularity in the age of social distancing.
The first thing that I love is just seeing the smiles on people's faces.
Been here 3 times this summer and we love it.
Are you having fun?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So I'm just picking a lot.
We are in the happy business, and when people come to the farm, there's nobody that's in a bad mood.
When Phil Van Blarcom left his corporate job and moved to this farm in the northeastern tip of Johnson County, he and his wife wanted to slow down, get away from the hustle and bustle of life. And in that search for solace, they sowed the seeds to what is now a blossoming business where others can take a breath.
Just became kind of my little getaway.
And escape.
And it's happiness, I feel like.
I know.
Just as the winter season dulls the colors at P&D Flower Farm, this past winter brought a change for all of us as COVID-19 rooted itself right in the middle of our busy lives.
We didn't know what was going to happen in March. We were terrified. Being, a family-owned business, we didn't know what to expect.
Weddings and events at the farm postponed. The future, like the crop, always a little uncertain.
And come June, when the sun came out and the color came in the field, people just wanted to get outside and enjoy some open space and do something that's normal.
And as one side of their business felt the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic, the other side was blooming.
We don't have any walled-in spaces, and people can feel more comfortable, more spaced out if they want. Obviously, we have lots of land.
Jordan Brewer is the event coordinator at the Flower Farm, and while many of their planned events had to change, they have been able to use what Mother Nature has given them.
And so we've had to limit people RSVPing or buying tickets to whatever the event is.
With so many restrictions in place, their You Pick flower field has been more popular than ever before. Phil telling me the only weeds in that side of the business now is that their fields have been picked over from the increased popularity. And it's a good problem to have.
We want people to feel safe. We want people to have fun and do something that's halfway normal and get out of this craziness of the world right now.
Jordan says helping guests create bouquets has brought joy to her life during these trying times.
Help other people relax too. It is nice to put together a bouquet for ladies and they're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna look terrible. I put it together for them and they're like, oh my gosh, it looks great. We love it.
So it's nice to see smiles on people's faces and just to bring them joy in kind of the dark times right now.
Just like humans, wildflowers aren't meant to be isolated or left standing on their own.
And we always say that when you put them together, they're going to be beautiful.
Looking forward to a time when we can all be brought together again.
Well, P&D Flower Farm is winding down their flower picking as the colder weather settles in here in central Indiana, but they are working on activities to utilize the farm in the cold weather months like calligraphy classes, garland and wreath making lessons. Plus, they are booking weddings and events for 2021, even 2022. So for more information on this little daytime getaway in the country, you can visit our website, WRTV.com/rebound. And some of those flowers may be having a hard time this morning, Alyssa. It is cold out there.
Yeah, I hope people covered up their flowers overnight last night because we do have that frost advisory in place. And of course, we know that frost can kill some of those plants out there. So I hope you covered them up, and you might need to cover them up a couple more overnights. Not this week, but in coming weeks. Temperatures right now starting in the 30s this morning. It's 35 in Indianapolis, 34 in Lafayette, 32 in Bloomington. So some very chilly spots on the map this morning. We're about 10 degrees to 20 degrees below average and below where we were yesterday morning. Terre Haute is 24 degrees cooler than it was at this time yesterday, and we're about 17 degrees cooler than we were in Indianapolis yesterday morning at this time. So a big change today. Definitely want that warmer coat to start the day. There's that frost advisory that's been extended to cover most of the state now, and that is for north and central Indiana. That's in effect until 9 a.m. this morning. The reason for that is we have that potential for some frost developing due to that cooler air that has dropped down from the north, mixed with the clear skies from that high pressure in place. All of that is taking our temperatures way down and really giving us that perfect situation for some frost to develop for our morning hours. Temperatures across the Midwest, you can really see we are in the thick of it when it comes to that cooler air mass that's in place from the north, bringing us that chilly air from Canada. High pressure in place right now. That's helped kick out a lot of that cloud coverage overnight, helping us drop those temperatures way down by this morning. We'll continue to see clear skies this morning, so we could see those temperatures drop off a couple degrees yet, especially in those really chilly spots. And then as we head through the day, we're going to mostly see clear skies, which will actually help us when it comes to warming back up. Calm winds, clear skies, and some sunshine is just what we need today. And then we'll see that high pressure moving off to the east, and then we'll see more mild air back in place for the rest of the week. Southwest air is going to push in, bring us those warmer and more mild conditions. So we will see those temperatures climbing a little bit each day in the forecast. Today, temperatures will be into the low 60s across the area for our daytime highs. So you don't need that jacket later today. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, a bit breezy out, but we are warming back up. 72 for your Tuesday, 78 on Wednesday, close to 80 degrees. And then we're back into the low to mid 70s as we head towards the weekend.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you are heading out on the roads. Taking you all the way up here to our northwest. We had a semi-fire early this morning near the Clinton County line, and that is still closing southbound lanes of I-65 at State Road 28. So if you're in Lafayette and areas to the northwest heading towards Indianapolis, this impacts you. You'll need to get off the interstate at State Road 28. Take that westbound to US 52. It runs right alongside the interstate. And then at State Road 47, you can get back on I-65 southbound. They did let traffic through for a short period of time after this issue, but they are still working on that cleanup. So just keep that in mind as you're heading out for your morning commute. Raphael?
So Lauren, this morning, the future of the Regal movie theaters is uncertain. They may temporarily close all of their locations in the United States and Great Britain. There are at least 6 Regal locations right here in central Indiana, including 2 in Indianapolis, 1 in Greenwood, Westfield, Noblesville, and Avon. Now, the announcement comes after the postponement of the new James Bond film that left a big hole in the theater schedules. The movie No Time to Die was delayed from November until April of 2021 because of the pandemic. Cineworld Group, which owns all of the Regal Theater sites, owns 543 of those theaters across the country.
Well, Cash App is replacing banking for millions of Americans, turning your phone into a checking account. But many people are getting scammed. Coming up, what you can do to protect your money.
And let's take a live look outside on this Monday morning, October the 5th. A big good morning to Bloomington, Brownsburg, and Bedford, all great places to call home. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
The time right now is 6:24 on our Monday. It's time, Raphael, to talk about what's trending at 6.
So, Lauren, I need to take you back to the 80s. There was a group back in the day, or a singer called Van Halen. He sang the song Jump. And so I think this next story is connected to the story Jump, or at least this animal was thinking about this when he was doing this. You see, this dog found a creative way to see what's going on in his neighborhood. Max, whose sister dog won't allow him to look through the gate in his yard, is now jumping as high as he can to see the other side. Neighbors walking past took video of Max, certain that he was on a trampoline, but no, Max was happy to show everyone he's just a gifted jumper. So in the words of Van Halen, jump. There you go. Look at that.
Oh,
wow.
He's like, I'll show you guys. So a local nurse, Raphael, is being credited for saving a life of a man while at a bar in Brownsburg. Corey Perriara, who works for Community Health Network, says that a man at the bar collapsed, stopped breathing, and had no pulse. And so that's when Corey's training kicked in, and he started those super important chest compressions. The man eventually responded, and a police chief thanked Corey by sending a letter of recognition to his bosses at Community Hospital
Good job,
East.
Corey.
That is awesome.
I want to hang out with Corey. When I go out, I want Corey. I'll pay for your drinks, Corey, and your dinner. I want Corey in the restaurant just in case.
Yeah.
I also want Corey on my airplane, right? Anyway, from one hero to another, Lauren, on this Monday, congratulations to Dana Hunter. Dana is our hometown hero on this Monday. Dana was recently recognized by the United Way for her work as a child advocate and for helping improve the lives of families. A big thank you to you and to all those making an impact during this pandemic. On this Monday morning, if you step outside, which I will not do till 9 o'clock when it gets warmer, here's Alyssa Donovan with your forecast.
You're just kind of a wuss, I have to say, because it's cold. It's not that cold. And keep in mind, it gets a lot colder in Indiana. This is just a preview of those winter conditions. Temperatures right now in the 30s this morning. That's what it will be when you head into work today. As you head home, temperatures will be into the low 60s. And looking ahead to the rest of the week, we're warming back up. We're into the 70s for the rest of the week. 78 on Wednesday, so close to 80 degrees. Plenty of sunshine, too.
All right, Alyssa. Well, money transfer apps, they're rapidly replacing checking accounts these days, especially for people who don't want to handle cash during the pandemic. Working for you, John Matarese shows us one big risk with the apps so you don't waste your money.
Many people are dumping their bank checking accounts for money transfer apps on their phone these days. But one woman just learned these apps are prime targets for scammers. Corinthia, who asked that we not use her last name, just saw her monthly rent money and more disappear in a flash when a scammer got access to her Cash App account.
It began with an email to me, and it said $499 was going to be withdrawn from my account.
Worried, she called the phone number in the email and got a friendly phone agent.
Told me to download this app so he can look into my account.
But that friendly agent was not really with Cash App. As soon as she opened the Cash App for him to see, he transferred $1,600 to someone in Canada.
And $4 is what left in my Cash App account now.
With so many of these scams, it turns out the victim inadvertently called the scammer thinking they were with Cash App, then gave the person their account number or let them remotely take control of their phone. Earlier this summer, Mark Fisher Googled Cash App customer service, called them, and had his account drained by a scammer.
And then I got hung up on $3,400 in this.
More than $3,000 gone in a second. Cash App now states on its website, please note there are currently no phone numbers that you can call to speak with cash support. No one representing Cash App will ever ask for your sign-in code. We contacted Cash on the chance they can help Corinthia recover her money.
$1,600, that's a month's pay for me.
Remember, money transfer apps are convenient, but they don't offer a bank's protections or FDIC insurance, so be careful so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Monday morning, here is your 6:30 news feed. A semi-fire closing portions of I-65 overnight. This the scene near the Clinton-Boone County lines just after midnight. At this hour, southbound lanes of I-65 are being diverted onto State Road 28. This morning, there are no word of injuries or what caused the truck to catch on fire.
Well, two young siblings have died after their father's pickup collided with a semi-truck on State Road 18 up in Blackford County. Police say 6-year-old Justin Cook and 5-year-old Raylan Cook died in the crash on Friday west of Montpelier. Their father was airlifted to a Fort Wayne hospital with serious injuries. Police say neighbors helped put out the burning pickup with fire extinguishers.
President Trump continues his recovery from COVID-19. The president's doctors say they are hopeful that he could be released from the hospital later today. Early Friday morning, the president tweeted his diagnosis. He was rushed to Walter Reed Hospital later that day. On Sunday, the president rode in an SUV to wave at supporters outside of Walter Reed. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Monday, and please be mindful that thousands of kids both in Indianapolis and in Fishers are going back to school for the first time today, so be patient and slow down, Lauren, right, around those bus stops.
Yes, the bus stops, be aware of the school zones, Raphael, and if you are a parent and you're sending the kid out to the bus stop, you're going to want to give them a coat this morning, and they might be able to shed that later today, Alyssa.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a winter-like start to our day. Temperatures in the 30s across the area. We're at just 30 degrees in Greencastle right now, down to 29 in Terre Haute. So some very chilly spots on the map this morning. 35 right now in Indianapolis, and you're going to notice that chill to start. A frost advisory is in place across the state right now until 9 a.m. Expecting that potential for some frost to develop over the next couple hours here because of those cooler temperatures, that high pressure in control. We have some cooler Canadian air that is in place, and then we don't have a lot of cloud coverage to insulate us from that cold Canadian air. Now, as we head through the day, we are going to warm back up very quickly. So even though we're starting cool, we will end with those temperatures in the low 60s. This is just the start of the warm up. We'll be back into the 70s for the rest of the work week.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now out on I-70 in Greenfield. Good morning to you in Hancock County. Be aware we still have a right westbound lane closed due to some construction. This is between State Road 9 all the way into Mount Comfort Road. We can also tell you the on-ramp from State Road 9 to westbound I-70 is blocked for some road construction. Right now you can see traffic is still moving. It is getting a little bit heavier, and last week when we had this lane closure, things got a little jammed up right around the 7 o'clock hour. So just be aware of that if this is your normal part of your commute. Of course, we'll continue to keep our eyes on this area, and we'll keep you updated throughout the morning. Raphael.
And now to the news. Lauren, new overnight, a man in the hospital following a shooting on the city's east side. It happened just before 2 this morning on Kickapoo Trail in Indianapolis. That's near Shadeland and English Avenue. This police say the victim is expected to survive. At this hour, police are trying to learn what led up to that shooting. Now, that shooting, just the latest in another violent weekend in Indianapolis. Police say the violence leaving 4 people dead in just 24 hours and at least 10 others with gunshot wounds. We have more details on all of these cases right now. Around 8:30 on Sunday night, police found a man dead on Forest Manor Avenue, that's near 30th and Sherman. A woman who's believed to be an innocent bystander was also shot. She's expected to be okay. And just hours before that, investigators say that 27-year-old James Upshaw and 32-year-old Juan Rivera and 33-year-old Shayna Jones were shot to death when a gunfight broke out in the parking lot of a Grand nightclub that on Massachusetts Avenue near Ritter Avenue. Shortly after the shooting, 4 other shooting victims walked into Community East Hospital. They're all expected to survive. In response to all of that, we received this statement from City County Councilor Keith Graves, who represents the district. He says in part to WRTV, while we grieve for those injured and killed in this horrific event, I want to state in the clearest possible terms that this dangerous, irresponsible behavior is not representative of the residents of District 13.
Well, Raphael, let's go now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and how it's impacting here in the state of Indiana. This morning, state health officials report 1,096 new coronavirus cases. That brings the total number of positive cases to more than 125,000 since the start of the pandemic. State health officials also report 5 new COVID-related deaths. Since the pandemic began, more than 3,400 Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus. And as health officials warn about a possible twin-demic with COVID-19 and influenza. We're keeping a really close eye on Indiana's hospital preparedness levels. And this morning, more than 80% of the ventilators are still available for use in our state. A little more than 3% of them are being used by COVID patients. This morning, nearly 36% of the state's ICU beds are still available. An increase in coronavirus cases is forcing Franklin College to move its classes online this week. School officials say coronavirus testing reveals 15 of 73 student athletes tested positive for COVID-19. In addition to the virtual classes, co-curricular activities will be offered online only. A decision for next week has not yet been announced.
This morning, with Marion County easing some restrictions, live music, as you just heard, is returning to restaurants and bars across the area. On Sunday, we visited Binkley's Kitchen and Bar on North College Avenue. After the Colts win, the band Touch of Grass played out on the patio. We talked with both the manager and a member of the band about being able to finally have live music during the pandemic.
We miss helping out the people that we help out. I mean, there's a reason that we do this. We've been doing it a long time, and we want to. The whole idea is to bring value to places. If any musician that you talk to, they're passionate about making sure that the places that they play obviously benefit, and this is why we're here.
Hopefully, everybody enjoys coming back out and listening to some live music. We just haven't had any around here, so. And we're excited. I mean, it's time. You know, we're moving forward, and I think we're just ready.
The Marion County Public Health Department requires venues that bring back live music to have a buffer of 10 feet between the crowd and the performers.
Well, in just a few hours, thousands of IPS students will return to in-person learning for the first time this school year. Working for you, our Kelsey Anderson is taking a look at how the district plans on keeping students safe.
Yeah, watch out for those kids this morning. A move to encourage social distancing on school buses. In just a few moments, we'll look at what's the steps that one school district is hoping families will take to keep each other healthy on the way to and from school. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Monday, October the 5th.
Welcome back. This morning, some IPS students will return to the classroom for the first time in months. Those students are the more than 9,600 pre-K through third graders throughout that district. Our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with what those kids can expect when they arrive this morning. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So yeah, like you said, it's a big day for all IPS elementary schools as kindergarten through third graders are expected to get back into the classroom today. So we went inside Daniel Webster Elementary School to see what they have planned and what's going on. And it all starts with this 41-page document with all the safety and health procedures and protocols.
I am so ready to get these kids back in school.
Cameron Riddle is a first grade teacher at Daniel Webster School 46. She says being in the classroom is crucial for social and emotional learning.
They need to be around their peers. They need to be somewhere that's not around like their parents every single day. Like they need to have that independence.
But getting kids to not touch their eyes, nose, mouth, and each other can be difficult.
We have a procedure and protocol for pretty much everything.
Principal Allison Peterkin says they have procedures for walking in the hallway, going to lunch, recess, dismissal, and even bathroom breaks.
Each class has their own recess equipment, and it will be cleaned every single night. We have different times throughout the day that the bathrooms will be deep cleaned, and we'll have a deep cleaning process at the end of every day.
She tells us the district bought lanyards to help kids keep their masks on, and they bought water bottles for every student so they can use the automatic water fountain.
If you've ever watched a very young child take a drink out of a water fountain, many a times their mouth gets way too close. And so by doing this, we don't have a whole bunch of germs all touching the same surface.
Now this is obviously going to be a big change for students and staff, and both Peterkin and Riddle are glad that they have extra time with the youngest students to get them adjusted.
We're definitely going to take that first week and just go over expectations, procedures, routines in the classroom, especially since they're going to look a little different with all of the new cleanliness procedures we have to follow.
So earlier in this hour, we did interview Superintendent Alicia Johnson, and she says that they're kind of having that first day of school jitters. They're excited to get these kids back in the classroom. Now, they are going to be cohorting and social distancing. That way, if someone does get COVID-19, they can easily assess the situation and quarantine the students who need to be quarantined because of that cohorting. Now, they are going to be off next week, all virtual learning because of fall break. And then on October 19th, that is when they're going to start phasing in K through 12. So the October 19th is when everyone in IPS will start phasing back into the classroom. So for more information and to see this whole entire health and safety plan, you can head over to WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. And let's stay on that back to school topic. We know this morning, Raphael, IPS is placing crossing guards at schools with those busy intersections.
And Lauren, this is all part of their overall plan that Kelsey was talking about, but in this case, of course, to continue to limit the spread of COVID-19. The corner of New York and Linwood is where kids and safety also intersect, outside of Emerson School 58. So push the button to walk. This is one of the many intersections which IPS will add a crossing guard to. In fact, it will get two, as the district encourages families to walk their children to school.
The main goal really is to create social distancing on buses. We need to get our bus counts down.
12 other schools like Thomas Gregg Neighborhood School on East Michigan Street will get a crossing guard. This site will get one.
An actual person that's in your line of sight with a red stop sign and a yellow or orange vest. So that's a very visual reminder to stop and obey the law.
The overall goal is to get about 2,000 kids who live within a mile of their neighborhood school to skip the bus.
My message would be that it is safe for students to walk to school. They're in these neighborhoods all the time. This is where they're growing up. They can proactively take some measures such as walking with their student, having a neighbor walk with their student, having groups of students walking together and come to school, get to this particular point where someone can professionally help them cross the street.
And if you're going to walk to school this morning, don't forget that jacket, as Alyssa Donovan has been mentioning all morning long. This will be the first day for those crossing guards to report to work. IPS has a one-year contract with the private contractor, Andy Frayne, to provide the 25 crossing guards at those 13 schools throughout Indianapolis. Lauren?
Well, Raphael, students up in Hamilton Southeastern schools, they'll also be heading back to the classroom today. The district's phased reopening plan calls for kindergarten through fourth grade students to begin on-site learning 5 days a week. HSC has the three-phase plan to reopen its school buildings. The plan goes from all virtual learning to a hybrid schedule to full-time in-person learning. Families can choose to stay with the all virtual learning during the last two phases. It's still unclear when students grades 5 through 12 could return to the classroom full-time.
A Fort Wayne man injured during protests earlier this year is now filing a lawsuit, coming up what he's now demanding from city leaders. But first, let's check your forecast with Alyssa Donovan. We are all waking up to a frost advisory.
That's
Alyssa?
right. That frost advisory in place until 9 a.m. this morning. Temperatures climbing into the low 60s this afternoon, but it is a chilly start today. As we've said, wear that warmer jacket. You don't need it later today, and you won't need it the rest of the week. We are warming way up for the rest of the week, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. A Fort Wayne man who lost an eye during the protest over Breonna Taylor's and George Floyd's deaths is now suing the city of Fort Wayne and a police officer there in the Summit City. A 21-year-old Balin Brake filed a federal lawsuit claiming the injury has permanently changed his life and led to mounting medical bills. Brake spoke to our sister station, ABC 21 in Fort Wayne, about what happened on that day.
Really, my memory is vague of the actual canister. I remember turning around and I remember it hitting me and then me flying back. And that's what replays in my head over and over again when I think about it. I don't have much more.
In addition to seeking punitive damages and attorney's fees, Brake says he also wants an apology from the mayor of Fort Wayne.
You need to come out here and face your people You need to apologize for what happened. I want you to look me in my eye and say that you're sorry. I want you to look me in my eye and say that you still stand by the police and what they did.
Fort Wayne police say the injury was unintentional and claim that Brake bent over to pick up and allegedly throw the canister. Brake refutes that claim. He also says he won't stop protesting until there's change.
This morning, the name of a former Indiana University president is being stripped from locations around the Bloomington campus. The university's Board of Trustees voted on Friday to remove David Starr Jordan's name from a classroom building, parking garage, and Campus Creek. Jordan supported eugenics, the practice of controlled human breeding. Jordan was a zoology professor before serving as the president from 1885 to 1891. Current President Michael McRobbie voted Jordan's name be removed earlier this semester. At 6:49 on our Monday, let's get a look at our forecast and what it feels like outside right now, Alyssa.
And it feels pretty chilly outside, Lauren. Temperatures right now in the 30s across the area. We do have close to the 20s on the map. Terre Haute has gone back and forth between 28 and 30 degrees this morning, so very chilly spot here on the map this morning. 35 in Indianapolis, 32 in Greenfield. So those temperatures are a lot below average compared to where we were yesterday. Yesterday, we were about 20 degrees warmer in Terre Haute, about 15 to 20 degrees warmer in Indianapolis. So a big change in just the past 24 hours. We also have a frost advisory in place. That is due to that cold air that is in place, bringing those temperatures down, as well as that high pressure in control that's cleared out a lot of our clouds. So we don't have anything to insulate us from that cooler and drier air. It's perfect conditions for some frost development. That is in effect for most of Indiana until 9 a.m. this morning. So just keep an eye on that. If you didn't cover your plants last night, you might want to get out there and cover them really quick this morning. Maybe save them if your area hasn't seen that frost develop just yet. So what's going on is you can see on our Midwest temperature map that we have that cold air in place from Canada that's dropped down, and that's really isolated right over Indiana. You can see that, and that high pressure is going to be impacting us today and into early tomorrow before we start to see some changes. So that's also cleared out a lot of our cloud coverage with that high pressure. So we're going to continue to see those clear skies as we head through the day. Maybe a little bit of cloud coverage this morning, especially over some of those northeast counties, but most of us will see mostly clear skies, maybe just a few high clouds filtering through. The good news with that is that clear sky will help us warm up quickly, and we'll be into the low 60s later today. High pressure in control right now, that's going to scoot off to the east, and that cooler air is going to go with it. Then we'll see this mild air in place. Southwest breeze will move in tomorrow. That will help usher in some warmer and more humid conditions for Wednesday and into Thursday. A little bit of a breeze will develop as that moves in too. So looking ahead, today's going to be the coldest day in the forecast. Temperatures just in the low 60s, and then we'll be above our average of 70 degrees for most of the rest of the week, close to 80 by Wednesday before we're back down close to those averages. Today, starting a little chilly this morning, those temperatures in the 30s, low 60s this afternoon. The rest of the week, 70s for the most part, a little bit warmer with plenty of sunshine ahead.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic, and we do have a traffic alert for drivers who are heading out the door at this hour to our northwest. Maybe you're in Lafayette area heading towards Indianapolis. This will impact you. We had an overnight semi-fire. It's still closing the southbound lanes of I-65 between State Road 28 and State Road 47. You can slide over there, use US 52 as your detour. It runs right alongside the interstate, just to the west of the interstate, so it shouldn't slow you down too much. Just be aware of that, and we'll continue to monitor that and let you know when everything is back open. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Welcome back. The time right now is 6:55 here on your Monday. Raphael, let's take a look at the stories you need to know before you kick off your work week.
So, Lauren, a local nurse now being credited for saving the life of a man at a Brownsburg bar. Corey Pereira works for Community Health Network. When a man collapsed and stopped breathing at a bar, Corey's training simply kicked in and he started some chest compressions. The man eventually responded. A police chief at the bar sent a letter of recognition to Corey's bosses at the hospital.
Well, the hospitality industry here in Indiana continues to take a huge hit from the pandemic. This morning, a national lobbying group says nearly 700 Indiana hotels could be forced to close if Congress doesn't provide more financial relief. Thousands of Hoosier hospitality workers have already been laid off or furloughed since the pandemic began.
If you plan on voting in the general election, you have until midnight today to register. You can do that by going to indianavoters.com. You can also check your registration status there. Also, as a reminder, Lauren, early voting in our state opens tomorrow. And the votes are in, Lauren. We want warmer temperatures.
Yes, it is chilly as we're starting our Monday here. You'll need the coat before you head out the door, Alyssa.
That's right. A little bit of a chilly start. Frost advisory in place right now until 9 a.m. for most of Indiana, including Indianapolis. By the afternoon, though, mostly sunny skies, 62 for the high. And then it's not going to be as cold overnight tomorrow night. We'll start tomorrow in the 40s, which is where we should be. And then our temperatures will be in the 70s for the rest of the week, close to 80 on Wednesday. Plenty of sunshine ahead, a little breezy tomorrow and Wednesday, and then the weekend's looking really nice as well.
Alyssa, thank you. Take a look here to view the skyline, rainbow-colored skies behind us here. A beautiful start to our Monday, and we're back here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with local news, weather, and traffic updates. Have a great day.